manhood.neat podcast.
Indeed.
All right, we are 4/5 full. We got 4 out of 5 in the bunker tonight. I'm excited about it. It's been a minute. We missed a week. I am sorry, guys. I do apologize to the listener and to gentlemen here that I did not have you over last week when we should have met, but life has been a little bit tumultuous. Yeah, that's the word we're going to go with today.
Sure.
But we got Ben Lewis with us tonight.
Hey, it's good to be back. It's been a while.
It's been a hot minute. We got Dylan Snyder.
Howdy.
And we got Rob, and we can't say his last name because of his occupation.
Well, if you say it 3 times, then I disappear.
Okay. Well, Rob, how we doing?
Good.
Or he shows up in the mirror.
Yeah.
So, all right, and I'm here. I'm Aaron. I'm here as well. Ben Benson is not here. His life is tumultuous as well.
Tumultuous.
So he could not make it, but that's all right. We understand. Dylan, man, it is November. We were like a few days away from time change.
Yes.
Are you ready for time to change?
I'm perfectly ready with time to change.
Perfect ready. So what's been going on?
Oh, just work, family things.
No, go ahead and tell us about this. I know you climbed the tallest mountain in Estes Park.
I didn't climb
14er?
I was the second highest peak in Estes Park.
Okay, second highest peak.
But it still sucked.
But it still sucks.
I am a fat man, and I have no business climbing a mountain.
But you did it in like, what you told me, like 37
9 hours.
minutes? Oh, 9 hours.
Yeah,
Okay.
9 hours. It took us
How many vertical feet was that?
10,000 vertical feet.
From the bottom to where you climbed 10,000.
10,000 feet of elevation at 5 miles on a trail.
Holy cow.
It was brutal, to say the least.
And you were not on a Honda Trail 90?
No.
Oh, man. So you actually walked that.
I walked that.
That sounds terrible.
But everything else about it was amazing.
On purpose?
Well,
Were you getting chased by a bear?
no, bears are not out right now. That's springtime. Right now they've already eaten. The elk have migrated, so there was elk everywhere. It was beautiful.
Did you ride one?
Cool.
No, but I could touch one. They were that close.
Wow.
They were very close.
Did they all have the little trackers on them?
No.
A lot of the elk up there do, but I didn't know.
No, these ones were just wild. They're trying to make it as like as little human involvement as possible now. So there's signs everywhere that says it is a felony to feed the elk. It is a felony to touch the elk. Leave them alone.
I like how the way we get rid of human involvement is by putting up a whole bunch of man-made signs everywhere.
On the highway that we made. And it'll say like right when we pulled in, it says elk are very active, so beware. And then the very next day, there's like a traffic jam because there's about 500 of them just crossing as a huge herd across the highway, and everybody's just sitting. Like, people are going 70 miles an hour, and people are standing in the middle of the highway taking photos.
Yeah.
This is such an Instagram world. It's so weird to see.
It's kind of like when you see like a bald eagle, and it's like everybody just stops their car immediately to take pictures.
Yes,
of it.
that's exactly what happens.
It is
so
pretty
many
cool,
times.
though, to see a bald eagle. You got to admit.
Oh, yeah. That's
You don't see it, but I
one of
see
the greatest
a
creatures
lot.
on Earth.
Well, you're outside more.
Oh, okay.
I was just say we can all go to Johnson's Lake.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. over there.
They're on the blue.
We saw one over
Really?
our house
Yeah.
just
Yeah, I see him around
3-4
Seward.
weeks ago.
You see me around Seward?
Yeah.
I saw a mountain lion in Seward.
Yeah.
That was
You
cool.
did?
Just outside of it. It's a really, really big tan cat with a long tail. Ran right up to the highway, turned back around, and darted back. And I was like, that ain't a bobcat.
No, that was
Definitely ain't a house cat.
You know the cat we used to have here that's
It
gone?
definitely ain't that cat.
Felix is gone?
No, Felix we still have.
Oh, okay.
No, Felix we're keeping because, like, I'm sorry, but our orange cat with miniature legs is still awesome.
Yeah.
But
But
all
yeah,
right,
He's like a dachshund, huh? He's like a dachshund cat.
he's the wiener
He's a
dog.
wiener
he's a
dog.
wiener
Yeah.
dog of cats, yeah.
Yeah, we covered this last time. You were not here.
Oh, I missed it.
So
Yeah.
I'm
So
late.
it was not planned for it to be that difficult. My wife had it in her head that we were going to be up and down there in about 3 hours. And
negative Ghost Rider.
Yeah. 5 hours up, 4 hours down.
Proud of you guys. That's cool.
You can't roll down faster than that?
If I want to die. Because you get through this
But
forest.
did you want to by the time you were
tuck and
Oh, I definitely wanted
I just
to.
would have tuck and rolled at that
Sore.
point.
You don't understand how little oxygen is truly up there until you're up there.
Was that your first trip to Estes?
No, I used to go there a lot when I was younger.
Was it your wife's?
It's my wife's first time ever being anywhere other than South Dakota. So
No.
You guys
Yeah.
she just got like totally consumed by the Colorado vibe.
it was, yeah.
Did
We're,
you guys
we're
buy, like,
full
a
on
Subaru
granola
and
now.
stuff?
We looked at Toyotas. We are thinking about getting a RAV4.
You and Rob,
We are completely
Subaru.
granola now. And I
Either
just bought some
Subaru or
Tivas
Toyota.
and some Tocos.
And you got your oh yeah, you don't actually have to have a medical card in Colorado. So did you do that part too?
No, we didn't take part in that.
Good for you.
were you limited to 10 rounds?
I offered. My wife said, we got to go look at trees. I don't want to lay in bed and be bored. And I was like,
Makes sense.
fair enough.
Yeah, because There is no trees here, so.
Nope.
There's a ton of aspens up there that are beautiful. It smells like cedar everywhere you go.
Which is weird because there's aspens, but okay.
There's cedars out there too.
But all right, Rob, what you been up to, man?
Oh man, nothing like that. Just work and nothing too crazy. Been pretty chill actually. Plugging away at things.
What do you mean? You've been sending me pictures like from a suite at a football game?
Oh yeah, I did attend a K-State game.
That's not too bad.
A week ago. That was a lot of fun.
Outside of hit manning, everything else was pretty boring for Rob.
Yeah.
It's forgettable.
I was in a luxury skybox at the K-State game where they won over a
48-0 against
That's TCU?
Ohio State or Oklahoma State.
Ohio State. Yeah. Okay.
They beat Ohio State that bad. Oh my
They were playing
goodness.
good enough. I think.
But
they
yeah,
coulda.
The other one.
They beat a ranked team.
Yeah.
And I was there. It's not a big deal because
Yeah, shut 'em out.
the next day I was on another business trip.
Another business trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a problem. I'm so consumed with work. That's all
That's
I can
right.
think about.
You got to learn to
during those
relax.
times.
Have a
Yeah,
Sabbath.
I know.
Have a Sabbath.
Have a Sabbath.
So, but yeah, the K-State game was good.
It was really good. It was a lot of fun. Good I love my family down there, so it's
Did you
good
say hi to Martinez from the Husker faithful?
well, we saw him on the sideline because he wasn't playing that game.
Oh, that's right. He had a broken something.
Something.
But I heard he's been doing really good over there.
They like him there. Everybody,
Oh, yeah.
they all agree he's a good kid, and they really like what he brings to the table. Even just from a leadership perspective, he brings a lot of good qualities. So
Did they give him pine tar?
yeah, this ain't baseball, is it?
No, but have you ever seen what was that with Keanu Reeves in it?
Oh, the replacement.
The Replacements.
Oh, great movie.
Hey, you know this don't look natural.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's the what's his name?
It wasn't Cuba Gooding Jr., was it?
No,
no, that's
Orlando Jones.
Orlando Jones.
Yeah, I love that guy.
That's a great movie.
That's a great movie. All right, Lewis, what you been up to, man?
Yeah, I haven't been up to a lot. I mean, I know I haven't been here in a while, but I've just been chasing kids. You know, we finished our high school football season last Friday night with a loss, unfortunately, to my old hometown, York.
That's the worst.
It's tough losing to the Dukes now. You know, after being a Duke all those years, and
that just lets you know they still got it.
they still got it.
Still
Man.
got it.
11. I've been here in Seward for 12 years, and I still when I go to a football game, I still want to say "Go Dukes." And I've done that before, like at a York game, and like got a bunch of dirty looks from people. It's kind of funny. People take their rivalry pretty serious, and my kids are all River Rats now, or Jays now, whatever you want to say.
What is Seward's mascot?
The Blue Jay.
The Blue Jays.
Blue Jays. I don't know.
There's a lot of them by my house, so I was like, oh, that's fitting. We have about 4
Like
of
the
them.
birds? Or
Yeah, the birds.
Okay, Maybe like a bunch of football players.
That's a scary mascot. I mean, the Blue Jay is a fierce animal.
It's majestic.
Dumb, crap everywhere.
Well, it's better than the Blueberry Bulldogs.
The Blueberry
That's true.
Bulldogs.
Fierce.
And now, the Blueberry Bulldogs.
All right.
You had something else too, though, Ben. Pretty
What?
exciting happened. I don't know if you've talked about it since.
What happened?
You've got a puppy dog.
Oh, I do have a puppy dog. Yes, we got another boxer.
Cute as can be.
She is cute. She's just a little over 4 months now.
I've seen videos of your older boxer training your younger boxer.
Definitely, yeah. In the art of war.
In the
I was gonna say, I thought the little boxer was beating him up.
This
Beating her up.
boxer is tough and dumb, but sweet. But she's a really good girl. She's learning from gal. Her name is Georgie. So
is it like the families or is it one of your kids specifically?
oh, it's the families, man. Yeah. We didn't have enough chaos in our lives and enough people consuming all the space in the house. We needed to add another dog. So the perfect time to do it.
That's right. Because the good thing is right now is everything's so much cheaper than it was a year ago. So you should add more expenses.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I mean, I might end up feeding the cats to the dog. I'm not sure, but so far, we're hanging in there.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Paycheck to paycheck,
I hear you. I hear you on that. So,
How about you,
Yeah, how about you?
brother Aaron?
just living in tumultuous times. Tumultuous.
Murderous?
Murderous.
Nah, okay, that's closer. No, just just got a lot going on. Some stuff we'll talk about later, but work. We're getting close to being done with fall work, and then just dirt projects. It's just kind of nonstop.
Are you guys getting rid of a bunch of dirt?
So no, we dug it's probably about. I'm trying to think how deep this hole is. Well, it's 27 feet wide. It's a 1/4 mile long, and it's probably
Close to 1,000 yards.
16 feet deep.
Close to 1,000 yards of dirt.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. It was 8 yards at a time. I can tell you that much. Taking it out.
Do you guys need to put any of it anywhere?
No. We had a low spot in the field, so we dug up.
Gotcha.
And raised it. So, but yeah, so that was a lot of time. So yeah, we're working on that. It's just been work nonstop.
You gonna put bass in that hole in the spring when it fills up?
No, because our plan is that it'll run through the pivot, so we can, save that rainwater. So we'll drain it as soon as that pit gets full.
Yeah.
But so yeah, we're doing that. Other than that, just like I said, working on fall fertilizer and got some. We got people bringing cows on to graze the cover crops, just kind of getting them lined out. It's just been a lot of stuff going on there, and just got some other stuff going on. So it's been really, honestly, just really, really busy. Oh, nerd alert!
Nerd alert!
Something I didn't really been into, and if Lewis is here, he's going to join me soon. But I've been playing the new Modern Warfare 2.
Oh.
And
Wait, new Modern Warfare 2?
yeah, so Modern Warfare 2 again came out, right? So the new one.
Like a remastered version?
No, it's a whole new game. So like so there's Modern Warfare 2 back in like the PS is that 3 days?
3 days.
So and then we had all the other stuff, right? And then Modern Warfare came out 2 years ago, and then they had whatever, and then this year Modern Warfare 2 came out again, but it's the same people, but like a different storyline.
Oh, so it's like just different missions.
Yeah, it's still Soap and all them and McTavish or whatever. But the campaign is fantastic. Graphics are fantastic. But they've actually slowed down the multiplayer where it plays like Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4 on the grand scale. So it's a lot of fun. And it's kind of cool I got it. Somebody gifted it to me after I got it. So I gifted it to somebody else. That person was like, well, thanks, but I was going to buy it anyway. So they gifted it to somebody else who was then like, sweet, thanks, but I was going to buy it anyway. So they gifted it to somebody else. So it's kind of cool just watching this like ripple effect of people getting gifted this game.
Sounds like a bread gift, like one of those bread makers that nobody wants.
Oh, the friendship bread? Yeah. But everybody's getting it, you know what I mean? And we're all playing together. So it's pretty sweet. But yeah, so that's kind of the few moments of fun I get. I've been doing that. Destiny's still there, but Destiny is nice. They always kind of go on a hiatus from now until February. It's like when all the holiday games come out because they know people want to play them. And that way you can do other things without feeling like you're just way behind in Destiny. So yeah, so that's my
Nerd alert!
of the show. Promise no more for at least 10 minutes.
There we go.
So
One more thing though, didn't you join an elite group just recently?
in the elite group.
Didn't you have a certain birthday, old man?
Oh yeah.
How old were you?
I'm 40.
Oh my!
So
Yeah, the
old.
Big Four.
So
You're catching me.
what I always say is like what I've realized about 40 is the nosebleeds aren't great, but the view from the top of the hill is pretty nice.
yeah.
So you were on the top of Flat Top Mountain, is what you're saying.
Yep.
You climbed to the top.
So, but no, that was cool. And my wife threw me a kind of a little miniature surprise get together. And so, well, most of you guys were there. Dylan was on top of an actual mountain at the time. So I hear it. It's all right, dude.
I would have traded spots, trust me.
I'm not mad at you. But it was cool. So we had a bunch of people over.
That was a good party.
Yep.
It was a lot of fun.
And so it's very humbling and almost kind of like reassuring to see that like there are people that want to be around you. You know what I mean? So
Are you questioning that?
As long as you bathe.
I mean,
I'm
I
okay.
don't like. I'm not sure how much my wife paid everybody, but almost everybody showed up. So
Well,
I
I'm
was-
still waiting for the check.
okay, it's going to bounce anyway, so don't worry about it. But
And the bourbon people on this who are listening would probably like to know that we drank rye that night.
We did.
well, and bourbon.
I missed the bourbon. I left early.
Yeah.
You didn't have any 1920?
No, he left.
No, I
remember?
didn't.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So we had the Noble Oak Rye.
Good stuff.
It was good. It was
good.
different. It was
Yeah,
really good.
yeah.
So thank you, Adam Greenquist, for bringing that.
Nice.
Rob actually gifted me my favorite bourbon, a little 1920. So after you left, we broke into that.
That's why we waited for him to leave.
That's actually why. That's true. We're not letting.
I might have got into that bottle when I got here tonight, just so you know.
Yeah, I saw you. So, but anyways, tonight we're actually going to be sipping on something new and improved, I guess. Dylan, what are we sipping on?
So we got a sponsorship from a good buddy of mine who lives just south of us a little ways in Fairbury. His name's Ethan Schroeder. So thanks, Ethan, for this bourbon.
Thanks, Ethan.
Thanks, Ethan.
It is the Yellowstone Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 93 proof, or for you Iowans, 46.5% alcohol. It's
Carry the
from The Limestone Branch Distillery.
which is a little lower than some of the previews we had, but still a higher number than the total amount of points Iowa scored all season long combined.
That's true.
It's been around for 150 years, since 1872.
Just like Kirk Ferentz.
Just like the Dutton Ranch.
Just like the Dutton Ranch. It says Landmark Edition, Minerva Terrace. Minerva. It's got a tumultuous time. In 2010, my family and I founded Limestone Branch Distillery with the intention of crafting only the finest whiskey and the dream of restoring the Yellowstone brand to its former glory. In the spring of 2015, over a century after our great-grandfather M.C. Beam, that's a cool last name, sold his distillery to Yellowstone, that dream came true. To celebrate with a family reunion of sorts, we bring to you Yellowstone Select Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. To the nose, it's got hints of things.
Okay, don't read any.
To the tongue, it's got a lot more hints of things.
Okay, how about you pop that top?
Do
Ooh, little pour. All right, thank you. All right,
Yellowstone.
and again, this is sponsored by
Ethan Schroeder.
Ethan, we say thank you. Anybody else who's out there, if you'd like to support the Manhood Neat podcast, there's multiple ways you can do that. The simplest way is just to tell your buddies about the podcast and tell them to give it a listen. Other ways you can do that is you can like and share this on your favorite social media platform. If you're on the Apple podcast and you rate and review, that helps a bunch. You can reach out, give us a question, give us a comment, give us anything.
money.
Yeah, money. I'd say if you want to sponsor a bottle, you can reach out at
info@manhood.neat.com.
or at manhood.neat. Hold on. Yes, it's been a while. manhood.neat@gmail.com. Again, it's manhood.neat@gmail.com. Or at info@manhood.neat.com. Like again, you said with that, you can reach out. You can send us a question, a comment, or if you were interested in providing a bottle, sponsoring a bottle, or would just like to give us bottle ideas.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, you can shoot an email there. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter, which I do apologize. I've been a little quiet on. Life's been a little tumultuous. So, tumultuous. But I will be trying to get back on that a little more readily. But you can follow us at Manhood Neat on both Instagram and on the Twitters. And again, guys, we thank you for listening and thank you for your support. And if you'd like it, again, just share with a buddy, word of mouth. That helps us the most. All right, guys. What's you smelling on this?
A musk. I'm smelling a musky kind of. I don't know how to describe it.
It's light.
Yep. A little corn forward. A little vanilla.
Yeah, I get the vanilla.
I get caramel.
I get almonds.
Yep.
Like that amaretto kind of smell.
No, more just like a roasted
A
almond.
little cinnamon.
Like a roast almond.
Little cinnamon in there.
Yeah,
It's not very oily.
It smells mild.
it's very very light on the
Yeah.
nose for sure.
Oh, even the color's really golden.
It's an amber for sure. Almost looks like a like a high flavored wine.
Have you guys ever had this before?
I have not.
I've not.
All right, well, let's move on to the palate.
Definitely light.
Distinct though.
Get that cinnamon up front. A little bit of vanilla in the middle.
It's very sweet. Very sweet.
Just kind of really mellow finish. Just really easy.
A little spice in the tongue.
Yep.
Get that rye.
It lingers.
Yeah, so I get that sweetness, and then see, to me, I get the way it tingles on the back of my tongue. Almost reminds me of like citrus acid burn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I
Yep.
get a little of that orangey.
Like a tangerine.
Yeah, but I get the vanilla. So like, really, I would say it's a little creamier than like this, but it's almost like a dreamsicle, but more orangey than
like an Orange Julius.
Yes, there we go.
Yep.
But if you made Orange Julius a fudge,
Yeah.
yeah,
You freeze it really. Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
It's a very pleasant drink.
Real easy.
Not stout at all.
no,
No.
But it's not just blah.
No, it's
flat.
full of
It's
flavor.
got a lot of.
It's got a lot of great,
Got some good
got a
character.
great taste.
Yeah.
yeah, it's to me, guys, I'm gonna move to the finish unless you guys got anything else. But the finish is like, to me, it dries out on the finish. I get that dry oak, and then that baking spice. It goes from being a tingle to a heat.
Yep. I would
That's
agree.
a great way to describe it.
Yep. That's very good. Yeah, same.
Yeah, it's good.
Ditto.
Ditto.
Yeah, it makes you want to take another sip.
Yes.
Like,
Oh, it's really good.
It's like it's got MSG in it, and we're at a Chinese buffet. I thoroughly enjoy this.
All right, Dylan, we'll start with you.
Hey, that's pretty good.
I'm gonna probably start out way stronger than all you because I'm not a proof buff. I'm gonna go with the 72.
72.
wow.
All right. So what's the proofing on this again?
93.
93. So it cannot be a slush.
Can't be a slush,
Can't be
I
a
guess.
slush.
But it's so pleasant the way it is. It doesn't need to be a slush.
No, it's a great neat bourbon.
So Ben, what are you giving it?
I'm giving it a 64.
64. All right, Rob, I got double duty for you tonight.
Oh,
Benson's not here, so
Yep.
I need to know: is it a neat bourbon or an old fashioned?
well, it'd be a good old fashioned. I think.
You think it'd hold up?
I think.
It's got enough citrus in it. It doesn't need to be.
Yeah. I think if you paired it with something like a good cigar, that would be a good harsh cigar with this. I say harsh, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Something
stout.
with a lot of
Stout,
stout. Yeah, real stout cigar. I think would pair neat with that really well.
So what are you giving it for a score?
For a score, now the score doesn't reflect how I like it, but I'm gonna say 58.
It does reflect how you like it.
Yeah, well-
that's why it's a score.
It's a 58 based upon the complexity of it more than the taste. I like the taste a lot, but from a complexity standpoint, I enjoy more complex.
You want
like
more
a lot-
layers.
Yeah, I want more layers. So I'm giving it a 58 for that reason.
58. Yeah, it's. I'm kind of with you, Rob. I like the flavor that's there, but I'm like if the finish would have one more step, it'd probably give me another
Yeah.
5 points on it.
A bit bolder.
Yep.
Just another step. I mean, however you want to call that. Like
Yeah,
just
be in the low 60s pretty easy if there was just
Yeah.
more.
So I'm gonna be 58 as well. Yeah, I think
It's a
that's
really light, like session kind of.
Yeah.
Like where it's a casual.
yeah.
Totally.
There's nothing wrong with it.
What
at all.
we're doing right now is exactly what I imagine doing with a flavor like this. Just
Great.
sitting here BSing.
Yeah, and we got and
It'd be a great bourbon to introduce to people.
Yeah.
That's never
Right.
had it.
And people remember, like anything above a 50
Is good.
is fine. It's above
Right.
that. It's like, I mean, like the car I personally drive is like a 40, or maybe even a 35.
Are you saying a Ford F-150? Is
No,
40?
my work truck's like a 2, but I'm saying like the car we drive as a family, our
Yeah.
Mitsubishi is
Mitsubishi?
It's
It
just
ain't no
like
Toyota.
Mitsubishi.
Mitsubishi. It's a commercial.
Dylan, is this a favorite of Ethan's?
I'm not sure. He kept asking what bourbons we wanted to try, and I said, to be honest with
All
you,
of them?
surprise us.
Yeah.
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 And so
All of them.
he gave me 2 different options, which I allowed to go to a vote in this constitutional republic that we have as a podcast.
Whoa.
And so we voted
These
on
big words.
Yellowstone.
So you drank the other one.
I opened it. I haven't drank it all.
Drink it. Oh, there's a pour left.
There's
couple
more
fingers
than
left.
half left. I've only had about 2 or 3 glasses of it, but it's a lower proof. But I would honestly say it's more complex than this. I don't know if you guys have ever had Bison Ridge.
I have.
Yeah. I thought we
Haven't had it here. We've had
had
it
it here. I've had it. I
Bison
thought we
Ridge.
had it here
It's
Never heard of it.
It's
We
a good,
might have actually had it here, but I'm not sure we had it here for a
podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good bourbon.
I know I've had it. I just can't remember.
Yeah.
where.
Yeah, he gave me 2 pretty solid bourbons, and
Wow.
I appreciate you, Ethan.
Thank
for
you.
that.
Yeah, we do. It's awesome.
Yeah. it's
We're
good.
drinking on Ethan tonight.
Drinking on Ethan.
Drinking on Ethan.
Thanks, Ethan.
So, all right, guys. As we jump into like the topic of the evening, so we're gonna use a phrase it's from 2 Timothy somewhere, right? Let's look it up.
Somewhere.
Let me just try to find it.
It's in
But-
the Bible somewhere.
Yeah, well, and it also depends on what translation you use. But as men, especially like if we aspire to be elders, but really like the rules or the qualifications for elders are things that's good for all of us to aspire to, whether we're called to eldership or not, right? It's just good traits to have.
Do you have them, Lewis?
Do I have those traits?
Yeah.
I'm probably failing miserably.
Well, we all do. But one of the things we're called to be is like beyond reproach, right? What's the actual?
The actual verse is 1 Timothy 3, verse 2. An overseer then must be above reproach, the husband of one wife, temperate, prudent, respectable, hospitable, able to teach.
Okay,
What's
so
above reproach mean?
that's what we're going to talk about.
Oh,
yeah.
look at
So
that.
like, it's pretty obvious what it means to be a husband of one wife. Like, that one's easy. How many wives do I have? One. Okay, I got that right. So that part comes easy. But this beyond reproach is first thing we need to do, and maybe this might take the whole episode. I don't know. And maybe if it does, we'll move it. We'll keep shoveling stuff down. But I want to define that to the best of our ability. But then I want to apply that to different sectors of our lives, right? So whether it's as a husband, as a friend, as a patriot or a citizen, or as an employee, or as all these different things. So what does it mean to be beyond reproach? You're using the internet to give me my answer.
That's a Merriam-Webster, dude. I mean,
I don't know him.
anybody named Miriam, I'm
Don't put
probably
that
worried
stuff
about
on
it.
the mic. I was getting all kinds of weird static.
Yeah, I don't know if Miriam is a him, but that's whatever.
Him, they, them.
Well, if it's a woman who wrote it, we definitely don't want to go by it.
Miriam goes by them and they.
Them and they, Z and Zer and Zit, right? So, all right. So let's start with like Rob. Like you're absolutely right. We got to be very specific on defining words, right? So what do we mean, or what are we looking at when it says to be beyond reproach?
So when I hear it, and based on the context of what the Bible, how we're saying it within 1 Timothy there, it's, to me, the way it comes across in that definition is so that somebody can't come and use that against you, basically, right? Of being in a position where you are, you're in leadership, you're you as an elder in this case in the 1 Timothy verse.
Okay, so which is good, but
I know we're going to talk about work, but I'm just saying.
Well, I understand. I want to look at it though as men. We should all, not just in leadership, but all men. We should strive to be.
Yeah. So I'm getting there.
Okay.
So the idea in the way it's in the text is to be above reproach, so that you can't be, I guess, somebody can't hold something against you, right? Maybe that's a better way of putting it, or the way I'm trying to understand it. So to your point now, if we're saying it in the context of how, as men, living our lives, doing the things, how we live our life, how we treat others, whatever it is, we are doing it in such a way that the example that we give is beyond somebody being able to take that and use it against you.
So Lewis, is Rob saying we have to be perfect?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty convicted by
I know.
Rob's.
Let's get after it, right?
So what's he saying here though? To be beyond reproach, which you're right. It means like, so somebody can't come back and say, well, Rob did this and this and this, right? Or
Right.
Like discrediting you.
Yeah.
And
Right.
saying,
So would being beyond reproach kind of be like being principled, like having a certain code of ethics that really exemplifies like the standards of character that we
God
have.
calls us to?
Yeah, like the gold standard, essentially.
Right. So, which is true, but I mean, who at the table is perfect?
None of us.
None of us,
Not
right?
me.
So to be beyond reproach, it can't mean that you never make mistakes,
sure.
right?
Just made one this morning.
Just one?
Just one.
Just one.
Man, you're way ahead of
I
me.
made one
This
within
morning.
5 minutes
This
of getting
morning.
up. What are you talking about?
That's what I'm saying. One this morning. I had one this afternoon.
I woke
five
up and I
this
was like,
evening.
"Oh."
You get one today.
But
One a day.
so to still meet the qualification of being beyond reproach, but knowing that we will make mistakes, how does that? What's the balance on that?
The balance,
Or not the balance? The answer would be better.
the answer. Yeah.
Could I give the curt answer?
Jesus.
Let's hear it, bro.
Yeah. Without Jesus, we're toast.
Right. No, but I mean, so
true.
which is true. Okay, but to be beyond reproach. So let's say I do something that breaks the character of God that I'm trying to live out. Right. So now I'm, I guess, reproachable. Right. I guess for lack of a better term, if that is a term. But so I do something. Let's say we're going to talk about work eventually, right? So if I make a mistake and I'm supposed to sell or deliver 35 truckloads of grain, right? And I deliver 33, and I'm sending the thing saying, "Yep, it's full." And let's even say that I believed I did 35. I just lost count, right? And then I figure out, oh man, I only did 33. And so I come out and I'm like, "Hey, listen, guys, I messed up. I said I was going to do 35 loads of grain. I only brought 33. I owe you 2 more." Right?
That would be beyond reproach.
Would that be beyond reproach? Yeah, that's what I want to get at.
Right.
So
It's where you own up.
owning up to
So integrity, basically.
integrity.
Right?
Yeah. So, and this can be both intentional and unintentional stuff, right? So being beyond reproach is not sinning or not making mistakes. It's just, like you said, owning up, right?
Owning your mistakes.
Owning up.
Because you're going to make them.
Right. So, okay. So to be beyond reproach is to exemplify the character of God, right? In a way that people cannot use your actions against you. And a way that you can do that when you aren't exemplifying that is when you own up to the shortcomings you have from meeting the characteristics of God and say, yeah, I suck in this area, or at this time I screwed up. You're removing somebody's ability to use that against you, right?
Yep.
And like, think of like a politician. Like a politician's running for office. If they say, "Hey, you guys ever see that fake thing for the guy who's like, I'll even change my name to blah 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 blah, blah or it's Philip something Philip my mouth of farts." But anyways, but
Fill up my mouth with fart.
have you seen that?
No.
Oh, it's hilarious.
I haven't seen it.
But it's like that. Like, but you're like, hey, like, yeah, when I was younger, I did this, I did this, I did this. That removes the mud throwing ability from the opposition, because they can be like, well, Steven, when he was in high school, like, beat up midgets. And he's like, yeah, I already said I did, and I apologize for it.
So are we talking about Saul here? Are we talking about a man that was beyond reproach?
Saul?
He acknowledged it.
Yeah. And owned up to it.
Yeah.
So you own up to your mistakes pre-Christ in that instance, right? But also as you do them going up forward.
I think that's a good example. If you start thinking about all the men in the Bible that we read about, right? That's a lot of their lives was
I think it's like 100% of them.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, maybe almost like Solomon, or not Solomon. Saul, the first Saul didn't, right? He was not beyond reproach, and that's why he ended the way he did.
It's true.
But the men who were beyond, if we're saying if beyond reproach, the way we're defining it is owning up to your mistakes. Think about all the men who all failed, but owned up to their mistakes,
Right.
and how God used them after that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty cool.
Hey.
All the way from the beginning.
God loves a great comeback story.
Absolutely.
Of course, they're all comeback stories because we're all kind of jacked up.
I
Right.
do love that in the Bible, because when people look at you and they're like, are you really a Christian? I'm like, well, Moses was. So if Moses could be a Christian, so can I.
Moses was a murderer. I mean, David.
Well, or David.
We've already talked
David.
about all these things. But
You want to go to? You guys want to go on a big tangent?
yeah, let's hear it.
We'll hit the button.
You hit the button first.
I don't have a tangent alert anymore.
I thought you did. Oh, man.
Yeah. But that's not really.
Not really. Okay, go for it.
So, but I can do this one because.
I read the Bible quite a bit.
Okay.
Let's hear
So
it.
one of my biggest gripes now, I don't know why, but it's been coming across my YouTube feed, which I probably should just be off YouTube. But I'm for some reason getting all these YouTube things about, it's a bunch of air quote pastors.
Air quote pastors?
Like, I'm using air quote, like, I'm not sure they're true pastors.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like, they're just
Like they're Methodist
name
pastors?
only.
or Episcopalian. Yeah. So, but basically saying that,
Pinos.
yeah, saying that David, like, you guys know the story of David and Bathsheba, right?
Of course.
But that he forced him into a room and raped her. And I'm like, that's not in the Bible.
He laid with her. That's what it says.
Like, but the Bible clearly talks about rape lots of times when it actually happened in the Old Testament. So, like, I don't understand this contorting of the
The text
to like try to nowhere. It never says that. It says he went with her.
we don't need to Hollywood this up. I
Well,
mean,
and that's what's funny. To your point, in the Bible, if
a
it
brutal
was
book.
there, they
don't back away from
graphically- Yeah, they don't back away from it. If it was there, they write it.
Yeah, and like I mean, honestly, like I think that, like I don't know. I mean, I never met David. He was dead before I was born, right? But he was probably like
At 40, only a couple years before you're
yeah, right. But I mean, he was probably like, I think he was probably like a good looking dude, you know, or
Got a man
somewhat.
crush on David? Is that
Yes.
what you're saying? Okay.
You're gonna make me
doesn't?
blush. You keep talking about me like this.
Yeah, no, but David, think about it, like David was, I mean, like, but you know, so like we know he's a warrior. Like so the dude was like a dude's dude, right? I mean, he killed lions and stuff with his hands before he even killed thousands of men.
That's right.
And so, and like, but it says he called down to Bathsheba, and she came and laid with him, right? And so, like, we don't know. Like, to me, that sounds consensual. And like, again, nowhere in the Bible does it say this is the proper thing to do. Like, it's obviously like shown as a
Right.
Yeah.
So like,
It sounds to me like a lot of the celebrities nowadays who would just like call up their call girl and say like, "Hey, get over here." Like Michael Jordan did that at a golf tournament. Some guy was engaged to a woman, and he told the assistant, "Tell that woman to come over here." And she went into his like private tent. The engaged guy never saw her again.
what, she died.
No, she ran off with Michael Jordan.
She's under hole number 8 at Pinehurst of.
Like, but I mean, I'm just saying, but this contorting of the scripture to meet a agenda, right? Because all these sermons end up with like how that's a showing that like the patriarchy's been alive since whatever time. And but I'm like, I don't know. To me, it's just, sorry, like I said, this is a tangent, but I hate this contorting script. Like the scripture, like scripture is divisive in itself for good. Don't make it for evil.
To your point, it's already a story of somebody who did something extremely wrong.
Right, the weakness of men.
He murdered a man.
Yeah, it got worse after that.
He just, you know what I mean? All of it's already bad. And all of a sudden, somebody has to come along and say, oh, by the way, on top of all of
He
that,
raped her. Yeah.
He also raped. I mean,
no, like
what?
it's not in there.
Well, it's not in there, but it like, why do they feel like they have to add that?
Right,
to
and then
the
my
story?
thing is like, so okay,
Yeah, the story's perfect just like it is. I'm not perfect, but you know, it's a great
it's the
story
story.
already.
It's what happened. And
You,
then
need, you don't need to
I just don't
Hollywood the
understand
details.
why people feel the need to
Right.
do that. To,
Yeah, this-
blow it up even more.
the scariest part is one pastor said that like, because they preached it as though he raped Bathsheba, and then said, and God called David a man after his own heart. This is why I don't trust God. I'm like,
Oh my
Oh,
god!
here we go.
So then how do you even think he's an air quote
But this-
pastor? He sounds antichrist.
that's why I said air quote.
It sounds
Because it's-
antichrist.
It'd be no air quote because it's a
antichrist.
pastor at a church that's considered Christian within the United States.
Anti-Christian.
Anti-Christian. Anyways, that's my tangent because I just contorting a scripture
you go.
for evil's bad.
Can we go on another tangent from that?
Oh,
tangent?
Yeah, we
man,
can.
here we
Let's
go.
tangent this out.
This is a tangent.
'Cause this
episode.
is kind of a cool story. You guys will probably be like, "Oh, that's lame, Ben." This is a cool story. So actually, the verse reads, he was overlooking his kingdom, and he saw Bathsheba, and then the next verse he says, and he saw that she was beautiful, or something like that. And we talked about this in a Bible study at a men's group early one morning, and this guy from our church, you guys all know him, great dude, you know, probably a mid-60s-year-old gentleman. He goes, you know what I know from that, Ben? I said, what? He said, it says that he saw that she was beautiful. It means he looked at her a second time. He goes, you can see a nice looking girl walking down the street once in a while, but you don't have to look at her again. And I'm like, great point, dude. And I just kind of chuckled, but I mean, I thought that was worth coming.
There's many layers to all the
Bounce your
verses.
That's right. Anyway, that's a terrible tangent on your tangent.
No, that was great,
I don't
It's
know.
a good team.
dude.
Yeah,
This guy's a
good.
genius at church. You'll have to meet him sometime.
I've met him. Probably.
What are his initials?
I can't tell you.
Oh,
That'd give it away.
SP.
SP.
Yep. All right. Think about that. All right, Rob. So we're going back to reproach. So to be beyond reproach is what we're going back to, right?
Oh man.
So
BS.
yeah. No, I said SP. You know who it is.
I don't think I do.
Yes, you do. You don't want to talk to him. How would you not know?
It's not who we're talking about.
Okay, never mind.
You gonna try to narrow it down now and get this guy thrown out of our church or something? Just
Yeah.
kidding.
Get him thrown out of our church for being beyond reproach.
With no godly men.
Yeah.
But no. All right. So yeah, we got time yet. We'll go into the.
Why not?
Okay. So our goal.
Got nothing but time today.
Nothing but time. Our goal is to be beyond reproach, right?
Yeah.
In all phases of life. Are we going to be 100% successful at that? Probably not.
No.
But that's the goal. That's what we aspire to. So let's look at one avenue, and I want to look at like employment, right?
Okay.
And Dylan, this is going to be a little bit harder because you don't have a boss because you work for yourself.
Oh, but I definitely have examples.
Okay. Okay. So
Sure, we've all had bosses.
No, I have examples of where I'm currently at right now, how I have to own up to things that go wrong and have to fix them.
Hold on, I gotta open my email because I sent myself my. Okay,
That's just part of doing business.
so I got some verses that I want to kind of look at, right? So one is Colossians 3:22-25. Slaves, I'm gonna change that to employees. Obey your earthly masters in everything, and do it not only when their eye is on you, and to curry their favor, but with sincerity of heart and reverence for the Lord. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. It is the Lord Christ you are serving. So there's that one, and then there's Ecclesiastes 3:9-14. What do workers gain for their toil? I have seen the burden God has laid on the human race. He has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the human heart. Yet no one can fathom what God has done from beginning to end. I know that there is nothing better for people than to be happy and to do good while they live, that each of them may eat and drink and find satisfaction in all their toil. This is a gift of God. I know that everything God does will endure forever. Nothing can be added to it, nothing taken from it. God does it so people will fear him. And Titus 2:9-10, teach slaves, employees, to be subject to their masters in everything, to try to please them, not to talk back to them and not to steal from them, but to show that they can be fully trusted, so that in every way they will make the teaching about God and our Savior attractive. All right.
It's a lot to chew on.
A lot to chew on. So let's go to the middle one first, which is the Ecclesiastes one, right? Okay. Does God recognize and expect us to embrace the suck that is work?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, is every aspect of our work going to be fun?
No.
No. What word does Solomon use when he talks about work? Turmoil, right? Mm-hmm. Like, there's turmoil, and so what does he say the satisfaction from the turmoil is? What creates that satisfaction?
Working as unto God.
Yep. And he also said eating and drinking, like having food.
Oh yeah.
And hanging out and having fun and happiness is the satisfaction of the turmoil. So, like, is it okay to enjoy certain aspects of the fruit of your labor?
Yeah, absolutely.
It is.
So that doesn't make you above reproach.
No, not at all.
No, it does. Or below,
I'm sorry, above reproach.
I should say below reproach.
Below reproach.
Below reproach, right? Okay, so first of all, we need to understand that work is one necessary. We were designed to work, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Was there work before the fall?
I believe so.
Yeah.
He was naming all the animals.
Yeah. I mean, you know how hard that is? No.
You know what he said when he saw an elk? I don't.
Elk.
I think he said elk.
That's why it's called an
That's
elk.
just the first thing he said right away.
Yeah. So here's the thing.
I thought he said, holy cow, look at that elk.
Did all animals talk before the fall?
I don't believe so.
Then how come they weren't freaked out that the fact that a snake was talking to them?
Well, I think some of that
Like a snake.
the whole theological discussion around that. I think there's a lot
I've never thought about that.
a lot of
right now.
poetry and things that all happen in that story as well.
Poetry.
I call it poetry, but
Poetry has not yet been invented.
yeah. I think so. No,
My mind
I
is
think there's a lot
blown with
more
that
to the
whole
story of
right now.
some symbolism.
Mine is blown.
Something like that. You know what I mean?
Symbolisms.
Some symbolisms.
All right. So
Anyway.
that's another tangent. But anyway,
That's a whole nother tangent.
But we do believe that we were created to work.
Yes.
Sure.
That work is not a result of the fall. Correct? Like work comes before the fall. So we were created to work, to have a relationship with God and to work with God. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Maybe a perception of work was changed by the fall.
Yeah, I don't know if perception or the fact that we became lazy, and the turmoil came.
Well, did we become lazy, or did our focus on why we were doing it change after the fall?
Both.
Probably.
I think both.
I mean, the laziness comes because we now are no longer fulfilled by our work.
Right.
Right.
Sin
After the
entered, pride
Sin
came,
enters.
all that crap.
We're doing it for our own selves, right? So we start working for ourselves, and we're trying to fulfill this hole in ourselves, and we're not doing it as unto God, for God. You know what I mean? Like we're not doing it for Him, with Him, by as unto Him, and so we're trying to fill this empty void that we can't fill, and that's where it becomes, why even try? Because I can't.
It's just work.
It's just this is.
Well, and what
I think we became lazy because of. I think you said that basically became lazy because of the fall. Because now we have there's no fulfillment in the work if you're not doing it as unto Him.
Right. And so the call is to work as unto the Lord, which we saw, right? But what is most of our motivations for working?
Oh, money and stuff. Things.
Stuff.
Right. Whereas
Survival.
Status, power.
yeah. Whereas the provision of God may come via our work, but our motivation should be as unto the Lord. The provision comes from, and it holds. Let's talk about this. It puts it all in perspective. So you're like Rob, your Subaru. Whose car is that?
It's the Lord's.
It's the Lord's. Yeah, good answer.
Hey.
Right. So, but I'm saying is, but we get this perspective of like stuff that like, okay, this is mine. Like I worked for the money.
Sure.
Now that I bought this because of me, I have this now. Like that's the worldly input of stuff. Whereas if we look at stuff biblically, we're stewards, right? So if a steward means we own nothing, we are in service of the King, of his
stuff,
and we're to take care of it. And so when you start looking at things, is I work because the King tells me to, right? Jesus, and then He gives me the responsibility of taking care of the things that I have: my home, my car, my shoes, whatever, right? And so we have to put all this into balance, the stewardship idea. And so that's where it comes back to this talking of we do things as unto the Lord. So, but again, going back to work. So to be beyond reproach, the first thing we have to do is work as unto the Lord, which means we work with what? Like we give it all, right? So whether or not
I give it all, but I think more importantly is that the mindset that we have of what we're doing and what we're doing it for is not turn back on ourselves to your point, right? Like I'm doing this for I'm trying to get this. I'm trying to get that. I'm trying to do this. Versus, where's my focus? Where am I focusing on Him while I'm doing that, or am I focusing on I got to pay the bills?
Trying to honor God with
you know what I mean?
Your hard work.
Yeah.
But I also think so. And there's two way employees. If you're an employee, can look at things. Is one, I'm trying to work for the money, or like my boss is whatever, and I'm trying to give him like whatever I have to get my paycheck. Whereas if we say I'm working to the Lord, like even if you dislike your boss, dislike your job, you still give it your 100% while you're there. Now, again, I'm not saying that you just have to stay there. Like we live in a society where you're allowed to. We have mobility. We can move outside of our jobs.
I've had plenty of opportunities come and go.
Yeah, but when you're in the position you're in, you work as unto the Lord, which means, And when I say giving 100%, I don't mean like 100% of your time, 100% of this, because there's boundaries and all these. And we talked about life balance before, but the time that you're dedicating to your job, or that you've agreed to via contract to give to your job, whether it's 40 hours a week, 100 hours a week, 5 hours a week, whatever. During those time, you are working as you're working for the Lord. So you're giving your all. And what I mean by that is like you're not cutting corners. You're not like whatever, because it's not you're not working for your boss. You're working for Christ.
Would you say, if you look at it at work in general, that you're looking for approval from somebody or something all the time, no matter what? Whether it's your own self-approval, like I did a good job at this, or you're looking for approval from the boss that you work for, or you're looking for approval from society in general, right? Like, oh, that guy does really good at his work. We're always looking for approval in our work, in some sense. And then, so my point to that is, if we can agree on that, then if we're only looking for the approval of God and Christ in our work, does that change
how we work?
Not how we work, because maybe you still work hard, but now the fulfillment of that work.
Oh, what you said, yeah.
Because the other fulfillment, if you're looking for yourself, you're looking for others, whatever, it's pretty empty, right? It comes and goes. It's fleeting. It's like, it's there. Oh, get a little bit of praise. You did a great job. And then it's gone. You got to do it again the next day and just keep doing it. Whereas God's like, Christ is like, I love you regardless, but thank you. And reward, and you have that, like trying to please dad, type.
Yeah.
So you're saying he
mentality.
loves you even those days where you slacked off on a Friday afternoon?
Yeah, he still
maybe?
loves you. He knows, you could do a little better.
Yeah.
He still loves you. He's not looking down like.
If you're working to honor God, you're probably employee of the month. If you're looking to like stay off your boss's radar and you're probably like just getting along then.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the difference too is because there are people who work because they're looking for a that boy, whether it's from God, from their boss, from their whatever. And there's other people who are just trying to get fired.
Well, I mean, there's still an approval though.
That's true.
I think deep down somewhere you could probably, I feel like you could somehow, go back to what you're doing and say there's an approval that you want from somewhere. Like I said, whether it's yourself, like I want approval on how I'm doing. And maybe I'm not saying you maybe work the hardest because maybe your own approval is very low, low, have low standards, but I'm just saying that there's some kind of approval that we're looking for, regardless of who it's from, where it's from. And then then to go back to the Bible part of that is if we're doing it for the glory of God or for his purposes, is that going to be that much more? It's going to be way more fulfilling and longer term, right? It's for the glory. It's for the eternal. Because it said in Ecclesiastes talks about we have it built in our hearts of eternity, right? We're always looking to eternity, and so when we do our work, even if it's just for that day, and we have our hearts on Christ, it's for an eternal purpose.
Yeah.
It's not for the car that I'm trying to buy tomorrow or make whatever it is. All of a sudden now we're thinking eternally. Everything I do means something.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing it for him.
If your motivation is to please God with your hard work, you're probably going to be a valuable employee to your, crappy fallen man or woman of a boss on earth, because their standards aren't going to be God's. If you're choosing to honor him with your hard work, to praise him by being thankful for your job and working hard. I mean, I think good stuff's coming from that, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same way if you're not, it's not your job and you're like, you're working hard, let's say you're a student, and you're like trying to honor God, by working hard as a student. I mean, you're going to make your teacher happy. You're going to make your parents happy. You're going to make your coach happy.
Well, in the modern education system, if you're working hard for God, you're probably not making your teacher happy.
You're probably right. But they're probably still going to be thrilled that you're not, on the crap list.
They're impressed by your effort, but not so much your answer.
Yeah.
I think about Joseph in those situations when, he's a slave working for Potiphar, right?
Yep.
In his home. Mm-hmm. He's a slave, yet he found favor. He found favor with God, so God gave him favor with man, right?
Right.
So he worked as unto I believe worked as unto the Lord. God gave him favor amongst men. Right. But even with that favor, did everything go right? No, right? His boss's wife decides to, throw the rape card out, try and say that he raped her and goes to jail. But what does he do in jail?
Becomes the manager of the jail.
The prison guard, the guy running the jail is like, you run this place, and makes him the guy, head of the jail. He's even in a worse situation than he was before, right? As he was already a slave. Now he's a slave in prison.
But he's being the best slave in prison.
He's being the best slave he can be.
The best slave prisoner.
Right, best slave prisoner.
Right.
Working as unto the Lord in prison, hoping that someday he'll get out, looking eternal, right? Mm-hmm. He's looking eternally as unto God, not in a situation. Now, he obviously wants out of jail. Who wouldn't, right? And then it all comes about. I'm just saying that it's you start looking at these stories in a little different way of like, oh man, that guy worked as unto the Lord. And then pretty soon he's a second in command of Egypt. I mean, that's
a pretty big rise.
That's huge.
Yep.
I'm not saying that's what happens to all of us, right? Like all of a sudden we're all second in command. But I'm just saying that.
Whole bunch
But are
of
we
BTs
serving
around
unto the Lord?
I used to clean
like he was?
bathrooms.
He's
Now I
serving
clean the
as unto
kitchen.
the Lord. But think about it. If it's truly eternal, right? If it's truly eternal, then it doesn't matter what happens to us here if we're working as unto him, because in eternity, what's coming next is what we're looking forward to, not the, oh man, I can't wait to get that 10 acres or that, because even now I live,
acres?
you know what I'm saying? Like you live on, even when you have a bigger house and some acreage, What do I always look at? I'm looking for more acres.
What's an acre?
Exactly. I'm just saying it's.
I want
we're never
another-
satisfied. You're never satisfied in this world.
Anyway, all I'm looking for is, a lake with some mountains, and a house.
That's it.
Yeah.
And you know
Brother,
what?
you just-
Everybody says that, and then as soon as if you did get it, what happens?
You want to live in Nebraska where it's flat and there's
Well, no. Then
mountains?
you're like, if I only had this now.
And then if I had a dock.
If I only
yeah.
had this now.
I need a ski boat.
It'd be really nice to have a house down in Florida too, so I could be on the beach when I'm.
No, I hate the beach.
And then,
I don't know what you guys
Well,
are
you are
talking
pale,
about. I'm just
so.
trying to not live in a shed.
What?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but then after that,
I want a mountain with a
then-
lake.
then you don't live in a shed.
Yeah.
And now you're like, well, it'd be nice to have a little more room. I'm just saying, if we're
I get what
always
you're saying.
working,
I'm
you know
just
what I
giving
mean?
you
I know.
time.
I'm just saying this.
things of this world will never satisfy.
Exactly.
Right.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They do not fulfill the heart.
No. And so, this beyond reproach thing at work, especially as employees, or even if you're not an employee, but like it just comes to is one, do we see the effort? Like people looking out. So if they cannot hold things against us, they can't say, and they might say, hey, listen, Rob doesn't do the best work, but he gives it his all. Like that's still beyond reproach,
I know
right?
plenty of people like that.
Or they could say, hey, so that goes in that, or Rob's line of work is kind of dark, but he's really nice.
He's
to the guy.
good at it.
He's good at it.
Stopping communism. That's all that matters.
And he's very nice to the people before he does his work.
Like
They
Rob's
get a last meal.
boss might be a
Farming.
total a-hole and not appreciate him. And
Now Rob's the boss and no one can figure it out.
And not be a good guy in any way. But if Rob's doing his job to glorify God, Rob's boss is coming around. He's going to be like, man,
Something,
Rob is
And,
doing some good work.
and even if he's not,
doesn't matter.
does it matter?
No.
Because God will work in that situation too.
And,
Right?
and your responsibility is to honor God in every step of
Exactly.
your life. It doesn't matter whether or not the people around you answer the
Quote unquote come around
or whatever.
Yeah.
Because your responsibility is to follow God. And so that's going to be in the way we work. And but when I say that is by do we apply ourselves? And that doesn't mean we're perfect workers, but we apply ourselves.
Yep.
We apply ourselves and we give the effort that we can give.
Yeah.
Man.
And when we fall short, we admit to it.
Yep.
And when it comes to like the other things too, like at work, is so we don't cut corners, right? We talk about integrity. Like we don't cut corners. So, yeah, I mean, technically, I could probably do this and
Right.
be like semi-legal. No.
Like your boss ain't always watching, but God always is.
Yeah.
You know,
And, what if your boss tells you to do something that's a little shady?
I mean, it says right there in Ecclesiastes, I'm supposed to do it, right?
That's what it says, right?
I think
He-
that's the part of the above reproach though. That's the integrity that you have to stand. You have to
Yeah.
say, just can't.
I would also say as a boss, I would say that limelight is magnified sometimes because at
The
the end
what?
of that spotlight
Oh.
of
being
that
a boss.
reproach.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's your face that the people who you might be doing the work for, or who you might have, you're the one they see.
Yeah.
Like, sure,
Right.
you have employees, sure, you have crews, sure, you have things like that. And it's up to you to make sure that they're functioning at a high level. And if they're not, and because they're humans and sometimes things go bad, it doesn't matter at all to the people you work for.
Well, heck
and I would
no.
argue, I may run a company, but I'm not my boss.
You work for your customer.
Oh,
I work for my
in those
customer.
situations, your master is
Is
the guy paying you to do
Everybody
the
at
job.
this table.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that'd be one of those things
all
too.
have
Like
a boss.
that goes back to like being beyond reproach in leadership is so let's say
And I drop that ball a lot.
we all drop
We
the
all
ball.
do, brother.
But see that's the thing though too is beyond reproach is not being perfect. It's saying
I'm not perfect.
I'm not perfect. Hey,
I'm
over
gonna
here,
make mistakes.
I
did
blew
this.
it. I'm going to make
Yeah.
it right.
As long as you're willing to say I make it right, because there's a lot of people say, "Hey, I'm just human. Sorry, deal with it." I strive to try to make things right, but I know that there is still people that aren't the most thrilled with how things go
Yeah.
that
It's
I do.
But that's beyond reproach. I think that's the biggest thing we have to come to is like so when I do screw up at work, right? And I fall short, or I do cut a corner I shouldn't cut. Is say, yeah, you're right, man. Like I should have done that. I apologize. I'm gonna work to make sure. I'm gonna work at it so it doesn't happen again. No, I'm not saying it won't, but I'm saying I'm gonna work towards it not happening
Right.
again.
Sure.
And so there's all these different things, and so I think that when we talk about integrity and integrity and being beyond reproach is probably the same thing.
I'd say pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah. is that it's again, it comes back to this idea that you of ownership, right? Like you can, and it's okay to own it when it's good. Like in the business world, is it wrong to be like, hey,
I crushed it.
I crushed it. These are my numbers. And if you don't want to give me more for my numbers, this guy does.
Yeah.
Like, that's fine. That's not.
I think God brings opportunities. I've had.
Yeah.
But then are we willing to accept,
time.
hey, I'm failing hardcore. If you want to cut my pay because I'm not doing it, I understand. Are we
Or
ever
fire
willing to
me.
do that?
Or
Yeah.
fire me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Why not? Oh.
Yep. Yep.
Although a little
good
tangent
stuff,
off to
man.
what you just said, that whole like, I'm going to try. I'm not always going to do it thing. There's just this little, I've heard it a couple times, but it's like a boss talking to an employee and he was like, can we go one day without breaking stuff? And he goes, sure thing, boss man.
Let's start that tomorrow.
Can we start that tomorrow?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
when you
I've
say
seen-
that, just reminded me of like, that is such a funny thing.
Yep. Yeah. I've seen that one where it's like, it has that, and then the two guys talking, and they always show like a video camera of like a whole warehouse like
Yeah,
falling
falling
down.
apart.
Yep. So
Your
all right.
your example about Joseph is dead on, man.
Spot on.
Like the guy, like he was just blessed in everything he did, and he busted his ass. Whether it was
Well, he's blessed because he did bust his ass for
Yeah.
God.
We bust his ass. but he
Daniel,
also-
another great example. Like, yeah, just there's so many examples of that. you
I
know?
think he was learning along the way too. Think about when he was younger. What was he doing? He was getting dreams and visions from God. What he was going to be. What's he do? He throws it in the face of his brothers and his dad. It's like, hey, you guys gonna be bowing down to me.
Joseph.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just
Look at
saying-
my numbers.
one of
Look
the
at my
great
stats.
one of the
And
great
part of that
Josephs
was
in the
learning
Bible.
process. Yeah, I think part of where his part of what he went through was God humbling him.
So then would the prodigal son be a great story about being a man that was above reproach? Somewhat humbling, realizing that
Well, that
he's
story is
pretty
all about-
worthless.
Yeah, I mean,
Grace, but
That's-
But he also realizes
You know what's
that
funny though is
he's
who's
worthless.
The prodigal son story. Who was Christ's audience when he gave that?
I mean
His apostles?
No.
no, it was the
the Jews.
Pharisees. wasn't it?
Pharisees.
Yeah, it was the
Phar- oh.
Pharisees.
So who's the person in there that represents the Pharisees?
Oh, the older
the
brother.
grumpy brother who's like pissed that
Why?
little bro came back and
Why are you all?
yeah.
Well, I think it represents a lot of people, but at that point,
You mean those stories are supposed to teach me something?
I've been reading them all wrong.
Crap! I just thought there were some bad people in the Bible.
3. Yeah. No, actually, all but one.
That's
All
true.
but one. That's true.
Actually,
All but three.
all but three. Trinity.
that's true. But I mean, as far as
True.
walking the earth,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Actually, though, not that he was perfect, but there's actually no sins recorded for Joseph in the Bible.
No sins recorded.
For Joseph,
Well,
I mean, not written down.
How he talked to his parents and his brothers not prideful.
We got to Hollywood that
it
up.
was
a little.
true.
That's true, but it's
It's not prideful if it's true. It's not prideful if it's true.
BS.
Me
It's not-
saying
I
I'm going
will
to
BS.
smoke you in
Being
arm
prideful.
wrestling is not prideful and true at the same time.
If it's true, it's not
Pride does not mean a
You
lie.
want to do that? You want to do that now while we're live?
I'm down. I don't have these 4-inch pythons for
I'm
nothing.
40. I can't do physical activity anymore.
Oh yeah,
You're on retirement.
I'm 51, man. Don't even,
Don't even look
shout
at
too
don't,
loud
don't even
around
look
me.
at Lewis. He'll break.
But all right, guys.
Good stuff, dude.
Yeah,
This was a good episode, guys.
So we're gonna move on. The next few episodes, we'll talk about kind of a similar thing. We'll be talking about this being beyond reproach. So the next episode, guys, do you want to jump into like in marriage and like family, like with our families, or do you want to move into like culture in the world?
Which one do you want to talk about me feeling?
We probably
about
should
the
have
most?
did family and
too
marriage
dangerous.
first because that's more important than our jobs.
All right, we'll do that next.
Yeah.
That'll be the
Good
humbling
call.
one. We'll do that next week.
Actually, so it actually ties in well because what's the hardest two things to keep in balance?
Yeah.
Work life and family life.
Yeah,
No, I'm not critiquing you.
Yeah, you are.
But Lewis has got it down to a science.
are judging.
He is
All the-
perfect at the work
always-
and the family
always
thing.
judging.
I am not. That's why I'm somewhat beyond reproach because I realize how far.
You're so humble. All right, guys. So we'll close in prayer and we'll catch you guys next time. Dear Lord, again, we just thank you for this night. I thank you for these gentlemen that are here. I just thank you for who you are. I thank you for your son and the fact that he has rescued us from our own sinful nature. And it is on his atonement that we place everything. And again, we just give it all to you, God. We ask the Lord that you would just continue to work in our heart, you work in our minds, you work in our souls, that we would become beyond reproach, that we would exude your character to a point that people could not hold the things we do against you, that we would fess up to our failures, and we give you all of the glory for our triumphs. You're awesome and glorious, and we give it all unto you. All right, guys.
Amen.
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 Again, thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next time on the Manhood Neat podcast.
Mr. Ben Lewis, he's always so humble.
Thank you, Jesus.